We just did an online meeting with my family. Um, my son, it was his idea originally, and um, I emailed the rest of my family to see who was interested, and my daughter wanted to come online. So my son and his girlfriend, my daughter and her husband came online, and then my mom joined uh, as well. And that's one of the things that I found are happening lately with COVID is that people are finding novel ways of getting together. And these online videos are fantastic. Actually, my grandfather, who um, was born in 1906, back in the 60s and 70s, used to talk about how people would be able to talk on the phone and see each other as well. So I guess you could say he was a futurist. So I'm just making this video to present to people my awareness of how actually, even though the pandemic was probably um, designer created and released to the public with really evil intentions to scare everybody and have them not be connected to their higher self, I think that it's kind of backfiring on them. And I think people are really getting forced to confront their issues. And I read that there are far more domestic violence cases occurring right now. And I just think that people that are toxic, that are been managed to keep going under really toxic conditions, are now kind of confronted with the need to detox and take care of themselves. And I think that people that have been able to really uh, run away from each other and not um, look at their relationships, not look at themselves, don't have an out anymore. So I think it's kind of a good time for personal growth, frankly. Um, and there's obviously a lot more information online, and people can meet a lot more online. I think we're incredibly blessed that this is happening at a time when we have the internet. Imagine the plague back in the 1300s when information was very scanty and getting it was, you know, a risk. Um, so I see a lot of positives at this time. I see an opportunity. People say that it's not what life hands you as much as what you do with it. You know, somebody I used to be close to said, you know, if life hands you lemons, make lemonade. I don't know about that approach. Um, I don't know that I'm not so keen on lemonade with all the sugar. But I think that we're one being, you know, we're human beings, and what affects the whole affects each one of us. So I think in these times, it's really an opportunity for each one of us to truly thrive, and that how you respond to this pandemic really shows where you're at and where you've been at this whole time. You know, it's really difficult times that bring out um, the heroes and the heroic within. So I think it's really a time to reach within and source yourself and find the beauty inside and find the love within and in your relationships, and to extend yourself to your loved ones, and to really ponder lives more significant questions like, who am I? Where do I come from? Where am I going? And to not just ask those questions, but to really dive in to yourself, to really sit and close your eyes and just be and see what you experience there. Because in my experience, there's a lot of beauty inside. And if I allow myself the space every day before I go out into the world to sit within myself, I get nurtured. And when my needs are met and I feel nurtured and loved, I'm much more able to love you and nurture you. I think that's a universal truth. I think we all have that capacity inside ourselves. And this is such a wonderful time to take advantage of it and to enjoy it. You know, we don't know how long we're going to be here. This shows us how fragile we truly are. I've actually been really enjoying listening to Osho talks on YouTube. I think he was incredibly clear. And maybe at the time he was really demonized by the media and the powers that be, but that's usually how it is. You know, in his time, I'm sure Christ was not very wanted by the powers that be. You know, whenever someone connects with themselves, it's a very threatening message to the powers that be, because those powers are fake and what's inside of you is real. And the more you embody that and the more you know that, the more free that you are. And when you're free, you can't be manipulated. When you're afraid, you can. So that's why they're trying to instill so much fear in us, but don't let them. Ground yourself in something true. Go within. Enjoy your journey. Blessings.